I actually did not see this coming tonight with the Rockets and the Lakers. I thought that the Lakers would come out with a more focused approach and try to end this thing tonight. There was some, we had a super chat question a couple nights ago asking specifically about the idea of like, should the Lakers try to delay the series? And from what I understand, like if the series pushes to 5, it buys them a couple more days before the start of the Thunder series. And I understand that to a certain extent, but I also look at the advantage of rest for guys like Marcus and LeBron. And just in general, I thought also LeBron had kind of a legacy opportunity tonight in the sense that if he would have swept the Rockets in a series where he was the underdog in all 4 games, that would have been kind of an interesting, like, no one's ever done this in NBA history kind of thing. So I expected more of a focused effort from the Lakers, and it just wasn't there. I want to give the Rockets a lot of credit. We're going to talk about them in just a second, but like you could really feel the age. Sorry to interrupt the video, guys. If you've made it this far, it would mean a lot if you would just take a second to hit that subscribe button. From LeBron and Marcus Smart and the mileage on their bodies in this game, this is the first time in this series that they played on just 1 day rest instead of 2 days rest. The schedule was very favorable to an older Lakers group of stars as we headed into this series, as they had 2 nights off between game 1 and game 2, 2 nights off between game 2 and game 3. We get 1 night off. You could just literally tell there was a combination of like a lack of juice, especially from LeBron. Like you could just tell, especially early in the game, he's just settling for a lot of really bad jump shots, and then just a lack of focus. And before, a lot of role players played poorly tonight for the Lakers at several phases. Like, Jackson Hayes got absolutely cooked by Alperen Sengun. No one really could make a 3-point shot in this game. The Lakers were just 4 for 18. But I really focus on LeBron and Marcus. One of the things I talk about all the time on the show is I don't really get to blaming the role players unless the stars play well. Because generally speaking, the stars are the guys that are best equipped to handle the responsibilities that need to be handled on the floor in order for your team to succeed. And if they play well, it kind of like leads to this result where all the role players have like smaller and more achievable jobs, which they can then thrive in. So don't really want to get into the role players. I thought LeBron and Marcus just didn't have it tonight. I thought they didn't have it athletically. They didn't have it with their shot making, and really, really didn't have it with their decision making. A lot of just like really, really sloppy decisions from those 2 guys early in the game. And then it kind of just felt like the Lakers let go of the rope, and they had a million turnovers in this game, a million points off of turnovers. I want to give credit again to the Rockets ball pressure guys, especially Josh Okogie, Tari Eason, and Reed Shepherd. Those 3 guys combined for 11 steals in this game. That was a big part just with their ball pressure, catching, when LeBron would turn his head, Reed Shepherd shoot in there and get the ball, the aggressive ball pressure on LeBron bringing it up the floor, the aggressive ball pressure on Marcus Smart bringing the ball up the floor, little bits of pressure too, like lob passes on the interior. They forced several turnovers on interior lob passes, so give some credit to guys like Jabari Smith and Alperen Sengun in particular on just some of those over the top passes, just making deflections when Marcus or LeBron just wouldn't throw a great pass. Give the Rockets defense a lot of credit, but I just thought the Lakers kind of didn't have it and identified early that they didn't have it. And there was a big gap in like execution. And before I talk about some big picture stuff, because there were like 2 or 3 things with the Rockets that I do think that they should try to bring into game 5 if they want to give themselves their best chance to compete. But, well, there's a lot of buzz tonight. Like, oh, if there's some team out there that can blow a 3-0 lead, like it would be this Lakers team. And look at the Rockets. They're starting to get some confidence. And I will never sit here and say that the Rockets can't win 4 games in a row. They certainly can. They were favored in all 4 games for a reason. And like we mentioned, they were plus 7 points per 100 possessions without KD over a pretty large sample in the regular season. So it's not that it's impossible. It's just like I have a hard time believing that the first time it happens will be this type of Rockets team where you have this clear basketball IQ deficit, this clear like skill deficit, this clear just like ability to even just hang on to the rope in big moments and just not make mistakes type of deficit. So like I'll never write them off completely, but like I still think this lands in line with a lot of 3-0 series in NBA history where they just pride came in and they were able to come out and take care of business on their home floor to make sure that they didn't get the embarrassment of a sweep. A very well coached, veteran led Lakers team with 2 home closeout games I think the Lakers are probably going to still find a way to close this out. And you also have the variable of Austin Reeves potentially returning at some point, either in Game 5 or Game 6. My guess is that we'll see him on Wednesday in Game 5. But again, like you have arguably the greatest player of all time, the guy I think is the greatest player of all time, who's had full control of this series. He just had a brutally bad game, and you have a veteran guy in Marcus Smart, a coach that's had these guys bought in and resilient all season long. They're going to be sleeping in their beds at home with their families in LA for the next 3 nights. I think the Lakers are going to come out surgically focused on Wednesday, and I think they're going to take care of business, and I think they're going to end up winning the series. But on the Rockets front, there were a couple of things that really stood out to me from this game. One, early and often, Alperen Sengun just said, screw all the BS. I'm just going to drop my shoulder and plow my way into the lane. Now, my guess is that JJ Redick and his staff are going to be complaining to officials, maybe even sending in some tape in the sense that like this shit where like Sengun's allowed to just use his forearm as a battering ram and swing that chicken leg or chicken arm out and like really bulldoze his way to the basket, but like no one's allowed to hit him back thing. I think that's something that he'll try to appeal to try to get some more favorable officiating in Game 5. That was more of a first half issue thing. I thought as the Lakers kind of let go of the rope, a lot of the fouls that Alperen Sengun drew were legit fouls, where the Lakers were just out of position and they were hacking the shit out of them. But there were 2 or 3 early ones that I think will probably shift more towards the Lakers as we get to Game 5. But credit to Alperen Sengun for finally realizing that, like, hey, DeAndre Ayton and Jackson Hayes can't guard you. So how about you just go at them one-on-one and get them into foul trouble and find your way to the front of the basket over and over again. So much better post-up game from Alperen. They found some success hunting Luke Kennard with drives off of the left wing, where they would just put Alperen in kind of the left dunker spot, and then they would try to slash across the lane towards the right dunker spot, where it kind of puts Ayton in this bind where, like, if Ayton comes over and helps, then Sengun's in offensive rebound position, and it just kind of creates like a spacing dynamic that's problematic. The Rockets did finally shoot better from 3 in this game. Shout out to guys like Aaron Holiday and Tari Eason for knocking down some of their spot ups. Reed Shepherd had a lot of on-ball reps and pick and roll in this game. That was another thing. Like I was texting with some of my Laker buddy friends during the game, and the main, like, when the things were still kind of in flux before the Lakers like really kind of let go of the rope, the main guy that I was really worried about getting going was Reed Shepherd, in the sense that like he's gonna get the Lakers can double team Sengun and they can play him into some of the unfavorable outcomes. The Lakers can just bet on guys like, you know, Tari Eason not making a ton of threes over the course of any sort of large sample. But when it comes to specifically Reed Shepherd, they kind of like have to let him shoot some of these step backs because if they like really over-index towards taking the ball out of his hands or taking away that shot, it puts you in this like precarious situation where you're in a 4-on-3 behind him, where you're not athletic or big enough to really keep Houston off the glass or to keep Houston away from the rim. And so they kind of have to let Reed Shepherd shoot. So like, you know, if you ask me, like, what does it look like if Houston goes up into LA in Game 5 and they win, which, first of all, we have no idea if Kevin Durant's going to play, which is a big wrinkle. But what it probably would look like is Reed Shepherd hitting 4 or 5 threes, the key spot up guys like Josh Okogie and Tari Eason shooting well, and Alperen Sengun having a lot of success bullying his way to the basket. Amen Thompson having some success with those drives like he was having coming off of the left wing. So again, it's not over. Houston absolutely can win this thing, but like, to me, it's not some sort of exceptional circumstance. Whatever like doubts you have about the Lakers roster, you're conveniently ignoring everything that the Houston Rockets have been telling us about themselves for the last several months. So like, it's a 3-1 series heading back to LA, and it feels just like every other time to me that a 3-0 team went up 3-1. We're like, maybe they'll come back, but no one's ever done it before. So it probably won't be them either. That's kind of where I'm at as we look at Lakers Rockets.